The stakes have never been higher. The competition has never been stronger. 42 drivers, 25 rounds. One will be crowned champion. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American Open Wheel Series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. We open this broadcast presented by First Medical Equipment in a unique fashion because tonight's festivities are dedicated to all grandmothers out there, but especially to one in particular. One grandma, or rather Uma, to Aiden, Clara, and Lily. Thanks to the effort of her son-in-law, Mark Amick, the third round of this Lionheart IndyCar Series celebrates the life of Sherry Boggs with the running of the second annual AMA 200 at Kentucky. And you can see all the virtual IR18 action live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. From the land of bourbon, bluegrass, and thoroughbreds, hello everyone, and welcome to the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the AMA 200 at Kentucky that will immediately follow as we count down to green. And here to do all of that is yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view by former real-world IndyCar driver and a man who has some sour memories of this place, Richie Hearn. I'm Jed Yaman, has director duties armed with cameras locked and loaded by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, Dougie Beard. Kentucky has been on the Lionheart IndyCar schedule 5 times, with 5 different winners. Richie, tell us a little bit about this place.
Yeah, thank you, Soup. And here we are at Kentucky Motor Speedway. It's a traditional D-shaped 1.5-mile asphalt racing oval. The track is very wide. It's 72 feet wide, so it kind of produces easily 3 grooves around the track. It's got 17-degree bankings in turn 1 and 2, 14-degree bankings in 3 and 4. It does have a very tight exit off of 4 as the banking descends onto the front straightaway there. But probably the best way for you viewers to get a view of it is let's jump on board that GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the Kentucky Speedway in the GSRC IR18 IndyCar. Without further ado, here we go. Coming down the front stretch here, getting it right down towards the bottom, swinging it up here to keep the momentum going, then dive it right down here towards the bottom here to turn 1. Find that yellow line and kind of hunker it straight off of the corner, down the back stretch, into turn 3. Might have to break it out, lift it just a little bit to let the nose set, but then right back into the throttle. Coming through the corner, just letting it sweep up there. Then for the hot lap, you can actually cut right down here onto the apron and come back up. Now, as the run moves on, or just as guys are experimenting, you could see guys move all the way around this track. The Kentucky is about 4 or 5 lanes wide, so there's a lot of room to play around. So up there in turn 1, you can see him in that higher groove. Here in turn 3 as well, getting right up here in that top seat. Maybe just trying to find some clean air, try and find a way to pass somebody. Either way, the track has the room, and these drivers will find it down the front stretch and across the line. And that is going to complete our track guide here around the Kentucky Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
And there we have a lap around Kentucky Motor Speedway. As you see, it's pretty much flat out all the way around the surface. The Countdown to Green is brought to you by Sim Experience, the makers of AccuForce Pro V2 Complete, the premier professional racing simulation steering system. The key to the AccuForce Pro's incredible realism is the groundbreaking direct drive motor control system, providing a driving experience that, when combined with today's best racing simulators, is as close as you can get to driving the real thing. For more information on the entire sim experience ecosystem, including the Sim5 software, 3DOF, Stage Series Motion, and the GS5 G4 seat, visit simexperience.com. And please use promo code SIMXLION to get 5% off Sim5 software.
Yeah, if their product is half as cool as their logo, man, that's a good deal. You look at that logo, man, it's shiny silver. That's a good-looking logo. All right, let's take this opportunity to go through the points now. We'll start with the driver standings, and of course, these are presented by First Medical Equipment. Adam Blocker doesn't have a win, but he sits at the top. He's 13 points up on Dan Guerin, who won the season opener. Now, as you look through all of those names, when we did this last time, the only rookie that you saw in there was the Sandman, George Sandman, who was down in 16th position. Not the case now. As rookies adorn that overlay, you got Karam and Carey down there in 6th and 7th, Sandman in 9th. Rookies everywhere. The other winner is Sage Karam, who picked up a win last time out. He is down in 7th position. Let's drop down to the team championships to see what's going on there. The top two teams hold station. I really think Adrenaline Motorsports, that red team, is going to be tough to beat. Synergy with Guerin and Wardlow. Those are two big names. I don't know if two drivers alone can do it for them. I think they really need to pick up a third driver to chip in some points. Up a spot is Synergy West. They got 3 drivers. Down a spot, that's the Adrenaline, the black team. I'm going to start calling them Adrenaline Motorsports Licorice, as I disapprove of using colors to differentiate between teams. NHR Esports. That's Harrington and Larkamp. Boy, 2 exciting drivers there, huh? They rounded out sitting in 5th position. All right, but there are more. We're going to go to the rookies now and have Richie talk about those guys.
Yeah, here we are, the rookie standings presented by Butt Kicker. And as you can see, Sage Karam, due to his win last week, has moved up 7 positions to lead that standings. But right behind him is Brian Carey and George Sandman. Only a couple of points, 5 points total behind them. We do have some other rookies involved. Hill, Jenkins, Cole, Altman up 2, Rigney up 4. So we've got a really good heavy hitters in those rookie standings in the year. It'll be good to watch.
Absolutely. That championship puts on as much fun to watch as the Drivers' Championship. So what are we watching here? Who are these guys? Well, it is the iRacing. This is the Lionheart IndyCar series, and on the iRacing platform, they are considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara IR18, and we're happy to be covering them one more season. And of course, they race in the memory of the late Dan Weldon. All right, it's time again for what many consider the highlight of the broadcast. Professor Lugnut's setup corner. Professor, you look to be leaning a little bit on screen. What's going on?
You know, Gunther, I'm telling you, Gunther, I prefer the Darlington lean. It's always the Darlington lean. Soup, we're talking about camber. Oh, let me turn this. Okay. We're talking about camber tonight. Tires. Well, guess what? You can lean tires over to the left, to the right. You can have them even in the middle if you want. But you do that with the suspension. You do it with the top and bottom suspension arms on these Indy cars. And you could adjust those control arms so they can lean the tire towards the car, which is, when you lean it towards the car, that's a negative effect. That's negative camber. And when you go away from the car and you lean it over to the side, that's the positive camber. Now, when it's totally in the middle and everything is flat, that's the maximum contact patch. What's a contact patch? Well, that's that spot of the tire that's meeting to the ground, and that you want all of that. That's where the grip's at. Well, okay, most oval setups, and we're on an oval tonight here in Kentucky, okay, they have negative camber on the right side of the car and positive camber on the left side, and that moves the natural contact patch of the tire towards the left side of each tire. Why is this beneficial on an oval? Well, it reduces the contact patch that we were talking about when it's going straight, meaning actually there's not as much friction. There's not as much contact patch. That makes the car faster going in a straight line. But more importantly, going through those left-hand corners, it moves that patch towards the right side of the tire, doing what we call preloading the tire towards the left. And those forces had forced it towards the right side of the tire, now result in a more neutral contact patch. Now, a couple of great philosophers from the Netherlands, Soup, once said that you can have the best of both worlds. I think their names were Alex and Edward, actually. And well, what does that mean? Well, by fine-tuning the camber, you could actually have maximum speed in a straight line and around a corner, just like here at Kentucky tonight.
I learned a lot. Do you know that camber plays a big part in the soapbox racing derby there that they have? They like to put camber on those wheels so that they only race on the little edge of their wheel there. A little bit I learned about that. Boy, that's some interesting stuff. Thank you, Professor. I can't wait to hear from you again next time. All right, Richie, let's go to something a little more traditional, and that would be series detail.
Yep, and these series details come to us thanks to Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit minus273.biz. Use promo code LHRS for 25% all orders. Now here's the series details. We're in Season 7 of the Lionheart IndyCar Series. We're running round 3 of 24 for the 2019 season. We got 3 driver drops. We're running the Dallara IR18. The setups are adjusted, but they are fixed, and we're working on total cash and prizes of $9,652.
There you go. Let me tell you, the Professor Lugnut, boy, he's like Elvis. He has left the building. Once he finishes this segment, he is gone. All right, it is the OMA 200 here from Kentucky. Let's get her name right as we take a look at Bart Workman.
Yeah, right now we're watching qualifying going on, and James Krahula is sitting on the top with a 24.245. We got only 5 drivers so far. 7 drivers now have put times in. George Sandman, one of our top rookies, sitting up there in the 2nd spot at the moment.
Time of day, it's about, well, let's see. It looks like it's almost 8 o'clock here on a middle of May night. Sun beginning to set. You can see the shadows getting long.
We got Sage Karam on the screen, putting in his qualifying lap at the moment. See what we can do. He's going down the backstretch. I expect him to be right up front here for this race. I don't think qualifying is going to be that important. Just race strategy and keeping it clean will be more important. And he crosses the line and pumps it in at 2nd spot. We got Jason Robarge up in the top spot.
Hey.
24.222. Sage Karam at a 2.42. And James Krahula at 2.45. So a lot of 2s in there. Basically, you got to go from 1st all the way down to 19th at the moment before we get to the 2.24.3s, 20th, actually, at the moment.
Dan Guerin makes it to the pole. He holds the record for the fastest lap time here. Wardlow comes in at P3.
All right, so that's going to move Sage down to 4th spot at the moment. Got a few drivers left to qualify. About 5 to be exact.
What do we think here, Richie? Is this going to be a draft track? Is this going to be a one-line track? What do you expect?
Nah, I would expect to see a 3-groove track. It's very wide and it's banked pretty evenly. So it might be a little tight through the front stretch with that little kink in it with the D-shaped oval part. But I expect to see some pretty much wide open. I haven't done much running here, so I don't know what the tire wear is going to be like. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think it's pretty much going to be wide open for everybody.
In the 5 previous races, 3 of them has finished under green, 2 have finished under yellow. Coming around, looking for a time for Goodman.
Right now, Conant Harrington is, well, Michael Goodman bumps him down to 3rd. Michael Goodman puts it into the 2nd spot. Actually, Dan Guerin and Michael Goodman, the exact same time, all the way down to the thousandths of a second, 24.209. Dan Guerin did it first, so he's going to get he'll be the point man for that.
It might be based on who's more handsome. I'm not sure how that actually works. I guess if you do it first, that's your spot. Okay. Guerin over Goodman right now in an identical time. All right, it looks like we are done, so let's go ahead and get to our grid right now. Richie, we have time. We'll take it a row at a time. On the front row, it's Dan Guerin. He's going to be flanked by Michael Goodman. Richie?
Starting in the second row, Connor Tarrington, and right next to him would be Jason Robage.
Wouldn't be an Lionheart race without the Candyman. Dustin Wardle sits in fifth, flanked by Ken Hacker.
Next up will be real-world current IndyCar driver Sage Karam, starting seventh, and right next to him will be James.
A couple of veterans populate row 5, Brandon Limkeman and Tony Schowen.
Starting in 11th will be our own Brian Yazik, and next to him will be Chris Lanini.
In the Baker's Dozens position, racing in the OMA onboard camera car, it's George Anzaldo, flanked by Joe Cadigan-Flanagan.
Starting 15th will be Andrew Kinsella, and right next to him, Ron Hacker.
And favorite Tyler Graff races in 17th. He's going to be inside of Stefan Larkamp.
Mike Rigney 19th, Jason Galvin 20th.
In Blackjack, it's Joe Branch, Big Joe Hassard in the double duck spot.
Joe Branch in 21st, and you just said that. Sorry. Brian Beard will be 23rd, and Brian Carey will be 24th.
There's the Bryans right next to each other again. David Altman and Bob Mikas go 25th and 26th.
George Sandman down in the 27th position. He's got some work to do. And Mark Cohn right there next to him in the 28th.
Is Sandman a road racer or was it? He sits 27th on an oval. 29th and 30th, Paul Jenkins and Bart Workman.
31st, Isaiah Dupree, and next to him is Greg West.
Samuel Ryman and Damon Martinez are the next two drivers.
35th will be Robert Bluen, and next to him will be Scotty Johnson.
37th and 38th, Scott Bolster and Brian. It's not easy being Greenlee back in 38th.
And way back in 39th, which I'm surprised to see, is Justin Weaver. And next to him will be Chris Stouffer in 40th.
Another big name that doesn't belong back here. How about Adam Blocker in 41st position? John Hill, the 42nd driver. There you have it. We have a full field here today. We do have some onboard cameras, and we'll get to those as soon as they start to roll. Look at this beautiful shot from above. One of our onboard cameras will be the pole sitter, Dandy Dan Guerin in the number 8. He's in the Track Racer onboard camera car, designing high-end gaming accessories since 2008. Hey, Big Joe Hassard in the number 11. He's in the Butt Kicker machine. Bring more realism and immersion to your sessions, buttkicker.com. And then we talked about this before. George Anzaldo in the number 6 in the OMA Memorial onboard camera car, remembering Aiden, Clara, and Lily's OMA, Sherry Boggs. Let's bring up the weather real quick as they go around. Take a quick peek of what these guys are dealing with. Oh, this is pretty friendly weather for Kentucky.
Yeah,
that is mint julep weather right there, baby.
Absolutely. They do have quite a wind going on there from the northeast at 18 miles an hour, so that could affect some of the drivers as we get going. It looks like the sun is starting to set too, so the track will cool down as we go. And like I say, I think we're going to see some pretty much wide open racing. I don't think it's going to be too restricted, especially with that type of temperature.
Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. We got ourselves a clean start. Dandy Dan Guerin out in front. Michael Goodman following as they get in single file. Connor Harrington, Jason Robarge, and Dustin Wardlow round out your top 5.
Already going 3 wide into turn 3. And you see some guys setting out on the wide side. So there's nobody's going to get away from the pack. It's just going to be a matter of just staying clean and getting the position for the end. But you can see they're almost 4 wide going into turn 1. And that 72-foot wide track is showing its way right now as we go right into turn 3. Those guys are getting real close to each other, though.
They do indeed. Sage Karam has already worked his way up a couple spots into 5th. Some more drivers the back half of your top 10. You got Yazik back there. That'd be Brian Yazik, Ken Hacker, Brandon Limkeman. 3 wide as they race for 10th position. Andrew Kinsella, George Anzaldo.
You can see Michael Goodman trying to go around the outside of Dan Guerin. Can't quite get it done as Dan's not giving up that inside lane. I don't know how long he'll be able to handle holding that low lane all the way around as the tires burn off. We'll see how that goes. I do expect Sage Karen to be pretty aggressive here at the start, kind of try to move his way up to the front. Oh, he gives the inside lane, Dan Karen to Michael Goodman as they go into turn 3.
Goodman gets down into 3. He locks it in. He's going to have the lead coming out of the turn 4. Will he hold it to the start-finish line? I believe he does.
Yeah, Dan Garen's looking now to go to the outside lane. I'm assuming some of these guys, you know, just seeing where their car works best. Not really that concerned about the position, just seeing where things are working in the draft. And so far, everybody's running very nicely with each other.
Again, a man with a reputation. He's trying to lose car number 44, Connor Harrington, going to the outside, making it 3 wide. He has no problem being fast, but he has trouble bringing the car home. Proved me wrong last time out as he picked up a podium on a road course. Right now, he races in 3rd on the high line.
Riding on board with Jason Labarge. Looks like he's running that Jeff Gordon type paint job, DuPont paint job there with the Rainbow Warriors. And he's kind of sitting pretty right there, kind of watching everything going on, watching Dan and Michael Goodman fight it out as we get to basically 2 wide racing down the backstretch.
You look at Robarge. We have not seen much of him lately racing up front. Good to have him back on screen as he's 3rd in line on the inside line, racing in his number 79 in his familiar rainbow-colored car. I hope. It is. There we go. I can't go talk about Jason Robards without a Jason Robards mention. Of course, check out the great actor Jason Robards in his final performance of Magnolia. If you haven't seen that movie, that's a good one. Has absolutely no relationship to this going on right now. But we got a long race.
If you watch, look back at Sage Karam, he's working those guys over pretty hard and really trying to fight his way up to the front. And I know he's going to be pretty aggressive there. He's not going to be afraid to just stick it in there and just kind of just force his way through. But he almost got into the back of that driver. I don't know who that was in front of him. Was that Connor Harrington?
Yes, it was. Talk about a driver. Let's jump you back. I'm going to jump you back to Chris Stouffer in 28th position. He's our hard charger right now. Started in 40th, is up 12 spots. Got a long way to go, but plenty of time to get there.
Yeah, pretty much, racing going on all the way through here with Dan Guerin and Connor Harrington now going side by side, but all the way through the pack, we got people three wide, 2 wide, all over the place. I think everybody's kind of taking it easy, trying to feel it out until we get to that first pit stop.
Saw Stouffer go to the inside, pick up a few more spots. So, we didn't bring up our racing Ellis. How far are we racing and how far can we go? We like to do this after we get a little bit of racing under the way. 200 laps on slate. Oh, you know what? That's just 200 laps. That would be a long time. It's 200 miles. It would be like, what, 134 laps if I know my math there. Maximum fuel is 38 laps, not 38 miles. So, there you go.
Up front, still Dan Guerin and Connor Harrington swapping back and forth. That's been going on for a while. Dustin Wardlow hanging on to 3rd. Kind of separating out a little bit. Sage Karen working the high line in turn 4. But he's got Ken Hacker looking to the inside of him, but can't quite make it happen. We might be seeing a little bit of tire wear as some of these guys aren't quite able to hold that bottom line, and they're starting to run more of the traditional oval line, entering high, down low, and exiting high. So we'll see how this plays out. If we get a yellow late in the race, that yellow line is going to be your friend. But if not, you're going to have to just kind of fend for yourself.
Again, we look up front at that battle. And again, Harrington's kind of sticks his nose out there. Don't know if he's as much interested on making the passes, maybe trying to get out of the Dan Guerin wash. Uh-oh.
We got a problem.
Chris Stouffer was our hard charger. got into Brian Carey or Brian Carey got into him, depending on your point of view.
And here's the replay. Going into turn 1 here. That tri-oval is a little tricky. And watching Chris Stouffer.
Gary in the blue car.
Yeah, as they come up and they just kind of get into each other on the straightaway. So, Chris Stouffer was just running that traditional line. He just got up a little bit high. So I don't know if he's getting some aero wash. And we're actually on board here.
Yeah, from this angle. Let's give Carey the benefit of the doubt, and he got a little aero wash, and the car pushed to the inside. I think I might be being generous there.
It's a little bit like the accident I had in 2002. Got to lift sometimes.
Talk about that accident.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. As they come into pit lane, we'll get to it. All right, no problem. But they're coming in pit lane. Everybody's pitting. It is a pit party here. So obviously tires are a little bit of an issue, and we'll see how this plays out as they come out.
Here they come. Guerin will have the farthest stall. He pulls in. Got to be careful, as some drivers have missed their stalls. That's going to cost them.
And one thing Dan Guerin has an advantage of is that they do have a rule here, just like in the real world, is that you can't enter your box more than 3 stalls, but you can't go through 3 stalls as you exit. So with Dan Guerin being the first stall, he can just go straight out. Everybody else is going to have to make a turn to get into that pit lane.
The big loser on that one, Sage Karam. Losing several positions now, down into 11th.
Yeah, hopefully he didn't run over a couple of his guys that are sitting out there waiting for him.
We've got a lot of onboard cameras. One of them is George Anzaldo. I'm going to take a second and talk about this as grandmothers are special people, I think we all could agree, and Sherry Boggs was no different. In remembering her, we can honor all the grandmothers, both still with us and no longer with us. Sherry was an educator for most of her adult life, and she loved teaching and helping others. So get this, that trait got her honored in 2017 with the induction into the Hackettstown Medical Center Foundation. She's a Senior Hall of Fame member for her significant volunteer work. Now pay attention, Sherry was a volunteer head of the Hackettstown, New Jersey Pajama Program. That's a national organization that provides pajamas, boy, I like pajamas, and books to children in need. She was the driving force behind 1,600 pajamas and 1,300 books going to local children. Aiden, Clara, and Lily, hey, your Uma sounds like a pretty cool girl.
All right. Coming around, getting ready for the green in a lap or two. I don't think the pace car lights are out, but yeah, like you said, Sage Karam went from 4th down to they're going green now, but Sage Karam down to 11th spot.
All right, now we have some drivers who stayed out. So David Altman did not pit. He's up there for track position. That a boy, David. Started in 25th position. He's going to stay out there. Come on, take it to him, David. He gets a great jump.
Yeah.
Gather up the chickens, take covering on the cows. The horses are out of the barn, Richie. That is David Altman leading the way.
He is leading the way. He started 25th, really leading the race. He's definitely hoping for a yellow flag fairly soon. Otherwise, he's going to be a dead horse out there. But sometimes you got to take a risk. And right now, he's leading the pack. He's got Dan Guerin and Connor Harrington. Dan Guerin's going to look to the inside. I think you're seeing the result of those tires wearing out as he has to wash up and let those guys go by down on that yellow line.
It's real close to the wall. Now let's see if Dave can tuck in behind Harrington and Guerin. They have been the fastest 2 cars today. Once again, Harrington takes his familiar wingman position to the right of Guerin. And look at this. There he is back there. Just put me in the toes, says David Altman. Fresh tires be darned.
Yeah, but he's basically kind of getting swallowed up here as all those guys with fresh tires can just hug that yellow line. That's the shortest distance around. As Dustin Wardlow Brian Yazik's doing a great job from 11th up to 5th. And, you know, David Altman, you know, if he can get a yellow flag fairly soon, he'll be all right. But if he doesn't, he's going to be pitting under green, and that's definitely going to put him a lap down.
Maybe so, unless we get a long green flag run, and then he'll be back up in front again. I like the contrarian attitude of David Altman as he falls down into 6th position. Hey, Harrington moves to the lead. And how about the Candyman? Looking sweet as he picks up in 2nd position. Yazik in 3rd. Guerin dropping back to 4th.
Yeah, that was quick work from those guys. Pushed Dan back to 4th spot. Got a long ways to go in this race, so it's as we go. David Altman still holding on to that 5th, 6th spot, but he's got a hungry pack of cars all over him in the back. Andrew Kinsella up to 13th, starting 15th. You know, I like to bring up Adam Blocker. I don't know what's going on there. He started 41st, still in 32nd. He is our reigning champion, and I would definitely expect him to be up higher. So I don't know if he's got some issue, but we'll keep an eye on him as we get along here.
I did a pretty good job of reading the notes, doing my homework. I did not see any penalty to our champion back there in 31st.
No, he put a time in, so, you know, he put an actual time. He didn't get a penalty. I didn't see anybody getting a penalty. Yeah, just struggling a little.
Maybe just doing a little sandbagging back there, racing with some of the common folk.
Sage Karam not be able to do much so far. Was in 11th on that restart. Now he's actually in 12th. Struggling a little bit. Well, now he's up to 10th, so excuse me. But
oh, we got a spinner. And he gets collected. That is Michael Goodman. I don't know if he's going to bring out the yellow. I don't think he went all the way around. Now it comes out.
No,
it
yeah.
was Andrew Kinsella. Oh, and the carries on after that. Andrew Kinsella and Ron Hacker does some gymnastics.
Ooh, it looks like Michael Goodman turned down. I don't know who was on the inside of him, but just kind of turned down on him. He got sideways, and here comes, I think that's Andrew Kinsella, and just all sorts of melee. This is obviously David Altman's best friend right now, is getting that yellow flag, but a lot of cars taken out.
Oh, that even happened. There were some more in the back that got caught up in this one. Yeah. All right, here comes Kinsella. And this might give you a good view of, I think Hacker might get in front of him. We'll see if we can see Hacker do a somersault here.
Yeah, I think you'll see Kinsella. He's just running the high line, and that happens in front of him. Goodman's comes up, has nowhere to go. Kinsella spins, and boom, there he goes.
There he is.
And that car right there in front of him is going to the stratosphere.
Now we'll go on board with the man that we were worried about laying in the back, doing some sandbagging, some common folk racing. Well, this is what you get when you back here racing with these guys. Oh.
Yeah, that is the risk. You know, he actually looks like he made it through, but, you know, for Andrew Kinsella, once again, like, he never qualifies well. He does have really good finish races, but the risk is that you can be caught up in one of these accidents. And it looks like everybody's pitting.
Well, some guys are. Harrington and Wardlow and Branch stay out.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Larkamp and Bolster. But they've only been out there for 11 laps. All right, we're going to take a look at Andrew Kinsella. He is our spotlighted driver. Before we lose him in this race, we're not sure if he's going to be able to come back here. Here's Andrew Kinsella. Talk a little bit about him. You can see what's going on. Car number 41. You can see him in the pits, but that's how he looks when he's out there racing. 48 starts. Surprisingly, when I saw these, didn't have a pole. That made no sense to me. Career wins of 60. I thought that, or 6, that was about right. 30 top 5s, 38 top 10s. His first start was back in Homestead in Season 5 in the season opener. Finished 3rd in the championship. So our spotlighted driver, Andrew Kinsella, we were going to keep an eye on him the entire race. Don't know if Havakech is going to come back out and race.
Yeah, he hasn't exited the car yet. I think he's waiting for a tow.
5 drivers stay out. Harrington, Wardlow, Branch, Larkamp, and Bolster.
Yeah. Has Bolster made a pit stop yet?
Bolster has. He came in on that first stop. David Altman, who we saw was in 25th position on the grid, he stayed out. He's going to slot into 15th position. So he got his green flag, or his yellow flag. He picks up a few spots.
Yeah,
it worked out for him.
Yeah, it worked out for him. Sometimes that's the way you got to take it. And now he's on the same pit strategy as most of the leaders, not the first couple in front. But we're starting to see a split strategy. So this will play out as we go. Like I say, I'm not sure about the tire wear. I don't know if it's real important or if these guys are just playing the fuel mileage game.
We talked about Dan Gehring holding the record for the Lionheart, the fastest lap in qualifying. My partner Richie Hearn held a record here at Kentucky. Yeah, I think maybe it's been broken, but Richie, your record not quite as prestigious.
No, I hit that wall in turns 1 and 2 at 210 head on at 146 Gs. I got the newspaper clipping to prove it. And I actually had the people that made the Hans device, because this is back in 2002 when it first came out, and I actually had them personally thank me because they cannot simulate that G load in a sled, and they said, not really, want to thank me because that they proved that their product works because I didn't die doing it. So, yeah, not that exciting, but kind of was. Not butthurt about it, just kind of disappointed, but it was a big one.
And for those of you who really don't understand what we're talking about a real world 148 G? Is that what you said?
I think it was 146, but okay. That's what we need to get in iRacing. We need to get that type of immersion in here. So if you hit the wall, someone just comes, hits you in the head with a baseball bat, and you can just decide whether you want to go out and do it again or not.
My wife has a special skull-shaped frying pan she stands behind me with every time I put it in the wall. Boink!
That's called immersion. So we do have the stadium. The stadium lights are coming on, as you can see. It's starting to go from dusk tonight, so track's cooling, and here we go.
All right, our leader is Connor Harrington, but remember, these top 5 guys are going to pit about 14 laps earlier than the rest of the field. And who are those drivers? Connor Harrington, Dustin Wardlow, Joe Branch, Stefan Larkamp, and Scott Bolster.
Yeah, Joe Branch going down to the inside of Dustin Wardlow, it looks like. Going to try to steal away that second spot. Stephen Larkamp doing a great job, started 18th all the way up to 4th spot. And then right behind him, Scott Bolster working on Stephen Larkamp. So starting to get a little hot and heavy up there, that top 5.
Well, I tell you, my driving instructor told me twilight is the toughest time to race. Man, it is dark out there right now. The lights have not taken effect. And it's about as dark as you can get in an iRacing sim right now. It'll pick up here in a minute as soon as those halogens start beaming down onto the tarmac.
I just want to make a mention. We didn't talk about this, but George Salmon has exited his car, so he is caught up in that wreck as well. Andrew Kinsella is still sitting there waiting for his car to be fixed, I think, but he is definitely out of the race.
Drivers that are having issues: Isaiah Dupree, Brian Beard, Andrew Kinsella, Ron Hacker. We talked about George Sandman, Greg West, and Chris Stouffer.
Yeah, we got a crazy battle here back in the 8th through 15th position. Sage Karam is right in the middle of that. He hasn't been able to make much move, but these guys are weaving all over the place. I'm seeing some tire smoke. Oh, we got a wreck. It's Jason Robarge and another car into the wall.
Robarge saves it. Joe Flanagan is in the wall, pirouetting down the back straight. Oh, Joe. Wasn't your fault.
Now, as I was talking about, I was going to say these guys were going. I was watching this group,
and this is Sage Karam who takes evasive action right in front of him. They were both in the wall.
He was in the danger zone, and these guys are just trying to fit too many cars in one spot. Looks like Jason Robarge turns down onto somebody, he spins, and then it just causes all sorts of havoc.
Karam takes evasive action, gets up into Flanagan. Sage is still out there in his number 2 machine, but he is absent a front left wing because of that contact with the wall. And got a hunch that maybe that left front tire might be pointing in a different direction than it was before.
Yeah. If it's only the wing, they can replace that in the pit stop. But if it's any kind of suspension damage, you're done. There's no fast repair here. So if you get that type of damage, you're out of the race.
And of course, if you were a fan of Professor Lugnut, you learned about the wings last round when he talked about that in his fine presentation from the setup corner. So Sage is going to have to come in. He's going to have to come in for a front wing and a rear wing. And while he gets some wings, we'll take this opportunity to go on the wing and take a break right now, but we'll be back before we go green.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit.
Streaming cyberspace into your place on the iRacing Esports Network. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the OMA 200 from Kentucky, round 2 of the Lionheart IndyCar season 19 schedule. Butt Kicker products add instant immersion to any game, unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force. Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing car-to-driver connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Use promo code LION25 to get 25% off your order. We are working lap Number 39, it'll be 40 when we go green. The pace car is in, and Harrington is on the gas. Connor out in front. He did not pit. 5 cars have been out there for a while. Connor Harrington, Dustin Wardlow, Stefan Larkamp, 3 of the guys up front. One guy who did pit is Dandy Dan Guerin racing in second.
Yeah, I'm surprised Connor didn't pit. I mean, he was running with that lead group there, so there's really no advantage of staying out, and he's really susceptible of a long green flag run. But here comes Dan Guerin. He's got those fresh tires. Connor Harrington trying to hug that yellow line, and he's got everybody coming after him. We got Dan Guerin, Dustin Wardlow, and they're going to go 3 wide, looks like, into turn 3.
And just to clarify, when I said pit, that was from the yellow flag before. Most of our leaders stayed out. A few guys in the very back, Mike Rigney, Bobby Micas, Mark Cohn came in, the Watchman came in, Robert Bluen. Look for these guys to inherit the lead here when these other guys will have to pit eventually. But we have drivers now on 3 different strategies. 2 of them being right here. Connor Harrington, that's been out there for 25 laps, and Dan Guerin, who's been out there for only 15.
Yep, going 3 wide across the front stretch here, across the stripe. Been a pretty exciting race so far. We've had, I think, 9 drivers, though, been eliminated with some wrecks, including Sage Carey, Andrew Kinsella, George Sandman. Looks like Joe Flanagan, Isaiah Debris, Ron Hacker, Greg West, Brian Beer, and Christopher all have exited the race.
Again, under a setting Kentucky sun. Darkness falls across the land. The twilight hour is close at hand. Creatures claw in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And one guy being terrorized right now is Connor Harrington, as Dan Guerin goes underneath him to get the lead.
Yeah, I think you see the result of those older tires as he couldn't hold that white-yellow line coming out of 2. Open the door for Dan Guerin, take the inside. And now Connor Harrington's got to worry about Dustin Wardlow going around him. And Ken Hacker's coming up as well. Gonna give a big shout out to Joe Branch, started 21st. He's all the way up to 7th at the moment. And Big Joe Hazard, 22nd to 9th. So nice.
Good runs from those drivers indeed as they start to go 3 abreast up front. Looks like the first lap of the Indy 500 there. Watch out for the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow. There's no room between him and the wall. Harrington says, no, you must wait, sir.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, there's going to be 3 wide racing all night long. I think it's really going to come down to fresh tires and what kind of groove you can hold. Draft is strong as they're flat out all the way around, but it's going to come down to that kind of scrub you get as the tires wear out and keeping that momentum up. Connor Harrington getting a good run off the corner on 2, trying to go around the outside of Dan into 3.
Ooh, they are awfully close racing going on there. Connor Harrington in that Cransfield car. Looking on from the popcorn position, it is the man who started this race on the outside of row 2, Ken Hacker. Looking up.
Yeah, Ken Hacker. Yeah, he's trying to get around Connor Harrington. There's no space. He's got to go down to the bottom. Connor's kind of given the opening lane, but I don't know how Ken's car is handling at the moment, but he should just, if he dives down there to the bottom lane, he can pick up the draft from Dan and probably pick up that spot. Up to the outside, we have Tony Schoen bringing his muscle up to the front. Going side by side, 2 by 2 into turn 3. You can kind of see him fan out here into the corner. Everybody trying to get some clean air on that front wing. And then back to single file down the front stretch.
Harrington working on 33 lap stint. Guerin working on a 22 lap stint.
Yeah, our max fuel stint's about 38 laps, although he's had some yellows in there. So let's extend that maybe into the low 40s. But if Connor doesn't get a yellow flag here, he's going to be hurting for certain, as he's going to have to pit under green. So it's a little bit of a risk. But the way this race has been going, we've seen a few yellow flags. And he's hanging in there. But he's going to probably hoping for a yellow flag fairly soon.
Boy, at risk of taking you away from a pass for the lead, I want to quickly talk about the driver in 24th position, Mark Cohn, car number 39. Why do we care about him? Well, he's the watchman, and he's the leader of all the cars that came in under that last yellow. He's going to be able to stay out there a little bit longer. If we go green, look for Cohn to be your leader. Oh, for maybe a dozen laps or so.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of reaching that point. It's a good move by him to come in. Sometimes, usually the race settles out after a few yellows, and if we get a long green flag run, that's going to move him right up to the point. So he has a little bit of cushion as far as waiting for that yellow flag to pit.
It does indeed, and of course it puts those other drivers at risk of pitting under green and maybe going a lap down, although they can probably get a pit stop in before Cohn would be able to come around and lap him. He's so far back.
I've been watching Steven Larkamp back here, and he is really running that high groove. He's just trying to keep that momentum up, and he's not trying to take the low line as he's trying to get around. It looks like Tony Schoen, as he does, Tony Schoen, he goes to the inside, but Schoen kind of carries that momentum. So Steven Larkamp's running that kind of that Kyle Larson type line, just keeping that momentum right around the ridge. So kind of noticed that a little bit earlier.
And remember, there are no fast repairs in the Lionheart series, either in this series or in the Retro series. You break it, you bought it. And what that means is as drivers, attrition sets in and we have less drivers, that's less chances for an incident. We have a tendency to run longer green flag runs at the end of a race, because there are fewer drivers out there. That's why my black sheep eat more than my white sheep.
Let's go back to the 32nd spot for a second. Nothing too exciting, but that's our second place starter. Michael Goodman was running up there at the front. He's hanging in there. He's still on the lead lap at 30, and he's running 32nd, but he's able to kind of survive, and we'll see how this works out for him. We've got a long way to go, so I don't think we've seen the end of him, but he was fast out there.
Yeah, we have a ways to go. Lots to play out. We're only working lap number 57.
Dan Guerin still able to hold that point. He still has Connor Harrington trying to go around the outside. I don't know how hard Connor's trying. He's just kind of staying in the clean air. I know Connor is working looks like lap 41 since his last pit stop, so he's got to be getting close. Even though we had some yellow flags, he's got to be getting within 5-6 laps of him having to come in the pit.
Good news and bad news for Dan Guerin. Good news is he qualified on the pole. Good news is he's leading the race. Bad news is in the 5 races held here at Kentucky in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, no one has ever run from the pole.
Well, that's not surprising as we see the type of racing we're getting here. It's just there's just no way to get away from anybody. So you can be the fastest guy to start, but there's a lot of other elements that go into winning this race. We're starting to see it. I was going to say we're starting to see him spread out at the front. Got some good racing in the back there. Back there, I was seeing Brian Yazek go around James Krahula.
Krahula was just worked his way up into 8th position. His car got really loose, and he got passed by Yazek, Blocker, and Larkamp. All went by him. He gathered it up.
Yeah, let's give another shout out to Adam Blocker. We pointed out that he qualified 41st, and he avoided that wreck barely, but now he's up to 10th spot, so he's got himself in a good position, so nicely done.
Right back. A lot of familiar, similarly painted cars. Fortunately, they have Rahula out there in that fluorescent machine. Really stands out late at night. Look at this going by. Right on board with Big Joe Hassard in the butt kicker machine. That's Adam Blocker getting that spot. Moving him up into 9th.
Connor Harrington still trying to get around Dan Guerin. Dan able to hold that inside line, forcing Connor Harrington around the outside. Not able to get it done. Once again, I don't think how hard Connor Harrington's really trying at the moment. He's just trying to stay in clean air. But, Here comes Connor Harrington. He's pitting under green. Also, Justin Wardlow. These guys are going to lose a lap, so this might ruin their race if things fall the way they are right now.
They will go a lap down. Everyone else will lap them, but of course they still need to pit. So if a yellow were to come out, the other drivers would come in for a pit stop, and they would get stuck behind the pace car. They would get the wave around. So I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen to these guys.
No, it wouldn't be the worst, but if we continue to go green, they're never going to get a chance to make it up. So, I'm not so sure that it was a risk that Connor Harrington needed to make. He was already running up front. So usually you do those type of things when you're running in the back, and you got to make up some positions. And we saw that. I think that was with Scott. Who was that? Scott Bolster that did that before?
Jason Robarge just put it in the wall, but he's okay. We touched this lightly on that rule, Richie, but I believe when you were racing, they didn't have that rule. If you were stuck behind the pace car, I'm not sure they gave the wave around. I remember many an IndyCar race where the leader would start under green from 4th or 5th car in line.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but does that make sense?
They changed that not too long after I started. So, if the pace car picked you up, I think what they do more now is the pace car tries to pick up the leader immediately, and then there's no wave around, so it just is automatic. But I've had many wave arounds in my career. I wasn't always up in the front, so it did work out sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't.
David Altman making a stop.
David Altman was the name I was talking about, where he stayed out there and tried to make up some spots. Excuse me on that, but it's obviously not working out for him again.
So here,
Dan Garrett, go ahead.
Yes. So now we have all these drivers that have been out for 40 laps. They'll be coming in soon. It goes all the way down to Chris Lanini in 13th position. So who's going to inherit this lead? I think right now, I think it's Rigney. I think it's Mike Rigney who has worked his way up. Oh, let's go ahead and talk to Andrew Kinsella. We'll do this. Bring him in. Andrew Kinsella, your day ended early.
Yeah, one of those things, not much you can do. Tony and Michael got together and it was just...
A little closer to your mic, Andy.
All right, how's that?
That'll do. We'll make it work. Yeah, you got caught up in something that really wasn't your own doing, huh?
Yeah, Tony and Michael Goodman got together, and Goodman started a quarter spin through the corner, and he just... I tried to go high around him because I was committed to the outside, and just didn't quite work out. Flipped them, and then tried to get down into the big hole behind the pack, but Ron coming too fast, and I was turning straight right and just going left, so not much I could do.
Does the bottom line start to go away on old tires? Is that kind of what we're seeing, or are we missing that?
It starts to go away a little bit, but I think the bigger thing is staying out of the air in front of you. I think you'll find the guys who are searching for that clean air will be making the most progress forward for most of the race. So as people sort of shift towards the high line, as the low line starts to apparently give away, I think the adventurous guys who search for that low line, I think they can still make some passes.
Got it. All right, well, this is why God made drop races. We have 3 of them, buddy. You'll have to use this one. Good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thanks, Sue.
Andrew Havakech Kinsella, always in the hunt for a championship. Not the result he was looking for today. More pit stops.
Yeah,
holy moly, not more, a bunch of them.
Yeah, green flag pit stops. Leader is just coming out of the pits at the moment. But like you said, Damon Martinez is out there in the lead. He should be coming in fairly soon, I'm assuming. But we got our leaders everybody cycling through.
Martinez is in, waiting for Justin Weaver to come in his Moby's Dickies machine. He's going to stay out one more lap. Because if you eat at Moby Dickies, you get lots of energy. That's why he can go that extra lap.
When we do these green flag pit stops, if you can see if we can, not right now, but when they come out of the pits, that exit lane is really tight. And there's just very little room to get up to speed. And who can get up to speed the best on these green flags pit stop is who's going to make up the time. It's no different than on a road course. Those in and out laps are key. And if we can stay on the shot here when he comes out of the pits.
Yep. Here comes Justin Weaver out.
Yeah, so if we can watch Justin Weaver, when he comes out of the pits, just look how tight it is when he comes around this corner. I mean, it's not your traditional just blend out lane, and it's really hard to get up to speed, and that's going to be the key on these green flag stops. Like I said, is who can make up that time and risk it going through here. So here he goes, and he's going to start picking up speed, but you can see it's not even really a lane, and it's tough. It is really tough.
That's really important. That was a great shot. I learned a lot on that one. I like that indeed. All right, well, I really thought that Mike Rigney would stay out there and lead for a little while, but as soon as he got the lead, he thought it was time to come in. So who's going to be running long? How about Scotty Johnson?
Yeah, Scotty Johnson, right? and Samuel Ryman, both all the way up to top first and second, although they're running, I think, 40 laps since their last stop, so they're not too far away. But
Johnson right there. Now right in front of him is Connor Harrington. Harrington racing in third. Johnson the leader. Harrington just about 19th, 20th of a lap down there.
Yeah, and Connor Harrington, we talked about him, wondering about him staying out earlier, but it's working out for him now, as he's going to inherit the lead here in a second, and it worked out for him.
Well, I wonder if he came in early. Wonder a few more laps on new tires. Maybe he was a little bit faster, because now he is ahead of Guerin by almost a second. But of course, he's on about 10 lap older tires than Guerin is. So we continue to wait for Johnson and Ryman to come in.
I don't know if the tires make so much difference in the speed as it does as far as the raciness of your car at this point. So it's just more about track position. Really just kind of throwing the dice to see when those yellows come out, if they do come out, and that's going to play a part on where you place on the grid, basically.
Scotty Johnson pits, and that's going to turn it over to Samuel Ryman. Hey, Sammy, you're out in front.
Yeah, started 33rd, running the lead, getting a lead lap in.
43 laps on this stint. Look, he just went 43 laps. There's only 82 to go. He can do this on one more stop. He wants this thing to stay green.
Yeah, that's working the math backwards. If we do go green, he's going to be looking good. Those other guys will have to come in for a splash and go, so you never know. Oh, he misses his box, comes in a little bit weird. Hopefully he didn't run over some of his guys there, and he's going to get going. But yeah, you're right. You know, I didn't really think about it that way, but you work the math backwards. He's looking fairly good as far as maybe making just one more stop.
Connor Harrington cannot do it on one more stop. Guerin is on 10 laps right now. That would add 10 to 83 is 93. Means he would have to go 46. Man, I don't know.
He'll need the yellow flag to make that happen. Yeah. I know we showed 38 laps earlier, but I'm assuming if you could save some fuel, kind of cruise, you could probably squeeze out maybe 40 laps under green.
Of course, we just saw Samuel Ryman go, I think I said 43, but of course a lot of those were under yellow.
Yeah, if you're going to go that route, you got to start now. You can't wait till the end. So you got to, we got to pass for the lead here as Dan Guerin goes to the front. Oh, Jason Galvin.
Galvin in third, looking to get up there. Guerin in the lead, Harrington in second, and Galvin now poking in, coming up from 20th position.
Absolutely, nicely run as he gets up to third, and Connor Harrington is looking to once again go outside. But what I was going to say is if you're going to work that fuel mileage game, you got to start now. You got to start now by lifting early, getting the draft. You can't make that happen at the end. So we'll see who kind of tries to play that.
Aaron, your leader. The New York driver, Connor Harrington, looking to his outside in his familiar wingman position. He likes it right out there. Clean air. He feels comfortable. The Bakersfield boy, Jason Galvin, back there in third.
Adam Blocker's getting a run on Big Joe Hassard as he comes to the inside out of turn 2. He's going to make that move cleanly. Start Adam Blocker doing a great job from 41st to 7th. And, you know, qualifying position didn't matter to him, obviously. So we have 27 cars on the lead lap. Let's go to that. Samuel Ryman's the last car in the lead. He is probably the one that has the best chance to make it on one more pit stop if he can save some fuel. So, you know, if it does go green, we'll kind of keep an eye on him.
Ryman has 1 lap advantage on Scotty Johnson. Remember, Scotty was ahead of him, but came in a lap early, turned it over to Sam. Sam was able to stay out. Might have a lot to do with what some of these guys are thinking, like Jason Galvin. Maybe he's thinking, I'm better in third position right now, save a little fuel. Let's drop back to 5th position. A little bit of battle here between Blocker and Ken Hacker. Ken Hacker going underneath. Thank you very much. Adam back to 6th. Ken up to 5th.
Yeah, it looked like Adam Blocker washed up a little bit into 3, but he's going to go on the inside through the tri-oval. He's going to grab that position going into turn 1.
Nice little battle for 10th. Tyler Graff getting passed on the outside by Damon Martinez. Now, there's a name we're not familiar with. He led a little bit. Good to see him racing up there. He's a rookie. Now Graff under attack from Justin Weaver.
Yeah, give another shout out to Justin Weaver. Just like Adam Blocker, did not have a very good qualifying time. Started 39th. He's worked his way up through the messes and now running 12th.
Tyler Graff underneath. I'm sorry, on top. Coming up on Big Joe Hassard in his Mosaic machine. Big Joe racing in 10th.
We also have a battle for the lead, 3 wide going into turn 3. Dan Guerin's got a whole bunch of 2 cars behind him, left and right of him. Single file through the tri-oval. But we got Connor Harrington going around the outside and Jason Galvin very hungry for that lead as he keeps trying to get right down to the yellow line underneath Dan Guerin.
Yeah. Galvin had evil intentions there as he was going down low. He was not going down there just to feel it out. I think he was seeing, what will this car do and can I get to the front?
Yeah, I mean, if you're right. You know, right now you're probably trying to see, okay, so if I'm in this position with 2 laps to go, how do I make this work? So you do get an aero wash behind these guys, and sometimes it's just timing a little bit of a breathe off the throttle and get that run off the corner. And this is just kind of practice at this point for some of these gentlemen.
While these guys race up here, these 3 in position, slowly, little by little, Tony Schowen began to run them down, gather them up, close the gap. And I said slowly. That was a poor choice of words. He's there.
I know we talked about Samuel Ryman kind of maybe able to hang in, but he's in danger of going a lap down as Dan Guerin is coming down the tri-oval, and the next car in front of him is Ryman.
Damon Martinez just brushed it on the wall, coming off of 4. Once he was there, he decided to turn it on down. Yeah, he missed it, and he had to take it all the way around the track. Here we go. We talked about the rookie. Ouch! The car's a little skinnier.
Yeah, just kind of crushed that right front end a little bit. So not going to steer very well at that. Up front, we do have Connor Harrington still trying to go around the outside, but like I said, Big Joe Hazard and Samuel Ryman, they're in danger of going a lap down. So if they're trying to save fuel, they need to start picking it back up, because once you go a lap down, it's hard to make that up. There's no lucky dog.
All he needs to do is really stay close enough that if those guys have to take an extra stop, but remember, Sammy, it's only going to be a splash and go. So if you go a lap down, I'm not sure you're going to be able to get back around. We'll see.
Nah, the only way this is going to work is if he stays on the lead lap. So if you go a lap down, I mean, you really need some luck at that point. You need the yellow flag to come out at the right moment, and then that really just puts you on the same pit strategy as everybody else. Your only hope is that it goes green, but if you go a lap down, it's tough to make that up. So we'll see.
Here we go, though. But Chris Sleepy Lanini pits with 34 to go. I guess we're in the window. Maybe I might have miscalculated here, but these guys are all out there racing now. We're at the one stop will get you there, right? Yeah. So when I told you that Harrington could not do it on one stop, I was incorrect. He's going to make it.
Yeah, so what do we have? 32 laps left?
Yeah, we're well within the window.
When did he pit last?
Harrington's been out there for 38 laps. He's pitting now, so he's comfortably in the window. There's 38 green flag laps for Harrington. Ryman comes in as well. He got to his mark.
Yeah, he probably decided that just pit now. Now, here's the thing, though. You could pit now, take less fuel, and gain that track position that way. So that was probably a smart move by him. Just come on in and just get back out there and just see how it plays out.
My apologies for miscalculating the math there, but that's what we do at GSRC. The Global Sim Arithmetic Channel. Tony Schowen now going around Galvin. Schowen up into second. Galvin back in third. Stalking is, and Galvin comes in.
All right, so basically they're proving us wrong, Stoop. So
yep.
We're just going to see how this plays out. And,
blame it on the director. Usually Amjad checks me when I make a math error there, so send your letters to him. Galvin up in front right now. So who's leading of all the cars that can go from here? Well, it's Harrington. He's our benchmark, back in 15th, 14th spot now. Rigney, Bolster in. Could this be the round for Connor Harrington?
Yeah, right now, Dan Guerin, though, he's out there. He's just staying out. It looks like he's just going to go the traditional mount all the way up to lap 38 or so. He's probably hoping for a yellow. If a yellow flag does come out now, he's gonna stick a lot of those guys a lap down. So he's going to go right to the end of this line. Tony Schowen as well, with those guys working 34 laps. Scotty Johnson, though, he's hanging in there. And it's changing up front fairly quickly, but we'll see how long Dan Guerin goes, and that will kind of dictate where we play the rest of the race.
One of the wonders of modern timing and scoring, I can give you the interval from Guerin to Harrington. It is 37 seconds. Now, that's a lap plus. A lap around here is about 24 seconds, so consider it 24, a lap, and then maybe an extra 13 seconds.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on that interval.
Yeah, I think the difference is that Dan Guerin, the longer he stays out, the less fuel he's going to have to take to finish. I'm pretty sure that Connor Harrington had to take a full fuel tank. So we'll see how that plays out when Dan comes in, but that might give him a huge gap over Connor Harrington.
Connor Harrington was on about a 12 or 13 lap disadvantage. He had about 13 laps less of fuel in his car. So yeah, he should take longer to fill it up. Fortunately, fuel fills up pretty quick in these cars. Here comes Schowen. This will give us a good indication of how this is going to play out in relationship to Harrington.
Comes into his box very clean. Yep, sorry.
Oh my goodness. Harrington
Ooh.
almost made contact as he was hustling. That's what Jason Galvin, this is for position. This is possibly for your race lead right now. It's a battle for 10th. Now look, this is Schowen. Now Schowen is out. Schowen gets passed as he comes out. Now it goes back to Galvin and Harrington. Schowen goes in, and now Dandy Dan Guerin is in.
All right, so this is going to really play out the finish of the race, as we only have about, 14 laps to go. And we'll see how long he has to stay in the pits. And we'll kind of keep an eye on Connor Harrington and Jason Galvin. I think Jason Galvin is actually the guy to watch. He's in front of Connor Harrington. He's coming through turn 4 at the moment. Guerin's coming out, but we have that tricky out lap here. And this is really the key, just trying to keep it up to speed. Jason Galvin's going to go right by him at the moment, and Connor Harrington. So
and
definitely don't hire me as your race strategist. He just got beat right there.
Dandy Dan back in 4th right now. Good news is for Guerin is he's close enough to get back up into the mix here with 21 laps of racing to go.
Yeah, he's definitely close enough. He's got fresher tires, but I would have thought that played out. Ooh, no, Galvin! And there's going to cautions out, so there you go. Never mind. He's going to be right up behind him, but...
and it gets worse as somebody collects them. We're going to look to see who catches them. Oh, my goodness. It is Bobby Mikas just T-bones him. Oh, that meat got tenderized.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Connor Harrington just swiped the back of Jason Galvin. And
oh, don't hit me. Oh.
Ugh. Yeah, unfortunately, I got to call out Connor for that a little bit, because he just tried to time it a little too closely. And if you watch, he just swipes right through the back of him and spins him out. Didn't really need to cut it that close with this many laps left. I know he didn't do it on purpose, but it definitely ended Jason's race right there. And entered Connor. And Bob Mikas with the best helmet paint job out there.
Take one more chance for Bobby Mikas, who has retired. There he is back there. The Von Hansen's Meat Machine. If you're a vegetarian, get some of their flavored pretzels, man. It is delicious. If you're a fan of Bob Mikas, close your eyes right about now, because this is not going to be pretty. Oh!
Yeah, that's not what you want to see in an IndyCar, is the sky.
Well, I learned from AJ Foyt, if you're trying to avoid an accident, aim for the car, because by the time you get there, it won't be. But unfortunately, that doesn't work if the car is stationary. Well, we got ourselves a sprint race. Now, Weaver didn't pit. He stayed out, and now he just came in. He was our leader. Is he going to be able to get in and out and stay on the lead lap? I think he's here's what I think happened. We talked about Scotty Johnson, remember? Scotty Johnson was in the same position as Samuel Ryman. Ryman came into pit. Johnson was a little bit ahead. He stayed out. The yellow flag came out. He had yet to pit. He had put a lap on everybody else. I think.
Yeah, it's going to work out great for him starting 39th. He is, I think, going to be the leader.
Right.
And Scotty Johnson is going to be right behind him. Ken Hacker looks like Weaver.
It's gonna be Weaver. Those are the only two, I think. Weaver.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Maybe Ken Hacker. I don't think so, though. I think nope. Yep. So what you have is Ken Hacker is the leader of all the cars trapped behind the pace car. Now, another two drivers trapped behind the pace car are Scotty Johnson and Justin Weaver. The problem is they're on the lead lap. So they will cycle to the front, and everybody else will roll around. Christmas comes early to Scotty Johnson. It's only got 18 laps. Hang in there, Scotty. And he's got fresher tires than anybody else. What do we know about Scotty Johnson? Well, he gridded in 36th position. He's a Midwest
Scotty
driver
Johnson,
now.
Justin Weaver both started in the 36th and 39th position. So, like you can see how you don't give up, and if you just work the strategy, sometimes that's what. If you're not the fastest guy, just kind of sometimes just work the strategy, and it works out for you.
He races for Skidmark Motorsports. He's out there in the number 07, and he's going to be our leader. Now, we don't know much about him, but we do know a lot about the Moby Dickie's machine. If you're watching this at Moby Dickie's, remember to tip your waitress. Somebody order around for the house because Justin Weaver's going to be sitting in second position. He gridded in 39th. Oh my goodness, it's a wave around Palooza here.
Yeah, so
now this is interesting. Pinned behind Johnson, Chris Sleepy Lanini, Michael Goodman, Brian Carey, Dustin Wardlow, Scott Bolster, Connor Harrington. Then you get to Justin Weaver in second. And then there are another four cars before you get to Ken Hacker. Oh my, 17 laps of racing to go. Scotty Johnson, it's all there for you. You're out in front, you got a cushion, bring it home, baby.
And he's going to get a good start here. Nice run. Those lap cars behind kind of staying low, but they're going to do their own racing because if they can get in front of him and get another yellow, they'll get the wave around. So they're not going to give up anytime soon.
Brian Carey going underneath Michael Goodman. The quad driver to watch is Dustin Wardlow. Nope, that's not him. Oh, it's Justin Weaver. Weaver back in second. He's getting gobbled up by some lap traffic. Can we take a look at this? Weaver gets passed by, oh, there goes Connor Harrington. Scott Bolster. Scotty Johnson out in front. The laps cannot click off fast enough.
Yeah, he's got a healthy gap to Justin Weaver. I mean, it's only a second and a half, but that's a lot on an oval. Right now, Scotty Johnson's got Brian Carey behind him, but that's not for position. All Scotty Johnson has got to do is just hug that yellow line for about another 13 laps.
1.1 second. We go back to third position. This is Dandy Dan Guerin and Ken Hacker. Guerin still has a chance to win. He's got 13 laps to get to the front. He's only 2.5 seconds back, but he's your pole sitter.
Yeah, Dan Guerin's been, I think he's led the most laps as well, so got kind of caught out a little bit, so he's going to be in a little bit of a rush to get up to the front. He is getting passed by Ken Hacker, so he's got his own battle for third spot. Ooh, almost.
Got to go to P1 because it did not take long for Justin Weaver to get there. So here's what's up. That's Scotty Johnson. He's on the outside in the dark car. He's the leader. Brian Carey in the blue car up front is a lap down. That's Dustin Wardlow. He's not in the mix either. The only car that matters is the one in the middle and the one right behind, the Moby Dickie's machine. Looking underneath, this is a pass for the lead, but there is no track for Weaver to put the car.
Yeah, those lap cars aren't doing any favors to these leaders. They don't care about them. They're trying to do their own thing. But that's opening the door for Justin Weaver. He's going to go on the inside. If I was Scotty Johnson, I would have just stayed on the bottom no matter what. But he's left the door open for Justin Weaver, and we have a new leader.
Trying to pin him down, though. He pins Weaver down, and he had nowhere to put the car. Johnson gets it back. Those lapped cars are Johnson's friends. He can use them like chess pieces on a chessboard, positioning them where he wants them to block the car of Justin Weaver. This is not so much racing as it's more like curling. Johnson out in front. Here comes Hacker now in the mix. Here comes Guerin underneath Hacker for 30. He has to back off. I think there's too many laps for Johnson to hang on.
Yeah, we got a four-way battle for the lead, but only two are actually racing for the lead. So we do have some jam cars in there. It's going to make this interesting to the end. Scotty Johnson currently in front of Justin Weaver, but they have a lap car in between them and to the left of them. So this is not over. It's not going to be a straight fight. We've got some players that might influence this to the end.
The boys are back in town. Ken Hacker in third. Dan Guerin in fourth. They are in the mix now. They can see Justin Weaver right in front of them.
And not too far behind is Adam Blocker and Tony Schau.
Scotty Johnson on the inside, keeping Dustin Wardlow right there. Using them to use up some track. Justin Weaver has nowhere to put the car, and he can't wait any longer because Hacker and Guerin are there. 6 to go.
And Dustin Wardlow's not giving up on trying to get his lap back, but unfortunately, he's making it hard for Scotty Johnson to run his normal line.
5 to go. Johnson on the low line. Loving every second that Dustin Wardlow, the car that is in 16th position, 1 lap down. The leader of all the cars 1 lap down is Dustin Wardlow. But he's being a very influential part right now as Johnson is pushing him, maneuvering him, trying to put him where he wants him. Now he pushes him a little high. Uh-oh, this is bad news now for Johnson because Weaver has no chess pieces to worry about. But here comes Ken Hacker, who has to check up.
Yeah, Weaver right now, if I was Scotty Johnson, I would not, that yellow line, I'm going to stay on that all the way around, make those guys go around the outside now that there's no more lead lap cars.
Scotty Johnson down into quarter number 1, 3 to go. Hugging the inside like a too small pair of Fruit of the Looms. Justin Weaver now is clear of lap traffic, but he is 3/10 of a second back. Hacker is there. Guerin has finally negotiated his way around traffic. Adam Blocker is in the mix now. Adam Blocker up into 4th. 2 to go.
Now Justin Weaver's got to deal with Ken Hacker. He was trying to catch Scotty Johnson, but Ken Hacker's going to go, oh, he's going to go right around the outside of him, no problem. Put Ken Hacker in P2 on the chase for Scotty Johnson. We have 2 laps to go.
The effort it took for Hacker to get around Weaver might have cost him too much time. Johnson may be able to bring this home. There is 1 lap. They're on the white flag. 4 corners. The interval is 10 car lengths. Scotty Johnson is going to steal one. Round 3 in the OMA race here in Kentucky. He's going to win the OMA Memorial in Kentucky. Goes to Scotty Johnson. Ken Hacker gets 2nd.
Yeah, Adam Blocker in 3rd. He got around Justin Weaver and Dan Guerin. Justin Weaver struggled there at the end, so give Adam Blocker, Dan Guerin, Tony Schau, and Brian Yazek all in front of him. Awesome job to Scotty Johnson. Everything played out to his spot. 36 to 1st. Great job.
The two-dimensional fans are on their feet. The 6th race here at Kentucky in this series. The 6th different winner as it goes to Scotty Johnson as he steals one. Oh, my. Time for me to put in one of my prescribed medicine from my cardiologist here as we see Scotty Johnson doing donuts. With that, we'll take a short break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order that will start with Scotty Johnson. Talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the OMA 200 at Kentucky. Obviously not that hard of a race title to remember. Come on, lead commentator. And the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. This is coming your way on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. If you're like me and have trouble finding something for the person who has everything, do I have the website for you? You know what it is. It's plasma-tracks.com. Not only produces original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophy, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. Words cannot do justice to the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But I'm warning you, one visit, the next thing you know, you'll be trying to convince the people who live in the house with you why you need a Plasma-Track wall art hanging in your home. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use promo code LRS2019 to get 25% off your order. And now let me give you 100% of the OMA 200 at Kentucky finishing order. Here it is. It starts with the man who gridded in 36, Scotty Johnson. We saw him run long. He wasn't going to be able to do it without a stop like we thought, but the yellows felt just right, and he was able to get out in front and hold on for the win. Congratulations to Scotty Johnson. Ken Hacker tried to run him down, ran out of time. We'll have to settle for second. Another driver on the same strategy as Johnson was Adam Blocker. He'll have to settle for third. Dan Guerin and Tony Schowen go fourth and fifth. Guerin, one of the fastest cars all night long. Brian Yosick, Justin Weaver, Paul Jenkins, James Grahula, and David Altman round out the back half of your top 10. Richie?
Coming in 11th is going to be Joe Branch. Right behind him, one of our sponsor for the race is Mark Cohn, 12th spot. 13th will be Samuel Ryan. Nice run from him. 14th will be Brandon Limkerman. 15th will be Tyler Graff. First car lap down is going to be Dustin Wardlow in 16th. 17th, Scott Bolster. 18th, Brian Carey. 19th, Bart Workman. 20th, Robert Bluen.
Then we got a lot more to go here. In Blackjack, it's Michael Goodman. The double duck spot to Mike Rigney. Big Joe Hazard a lap down in 23rd. Connor Harrington, after sideswiping the gearbox of Jason Galvin, is in 21st position. Brian is not easy being Greenlee in 25th. Chris Lanini, George Anzaldo, and John Hill go 26th, 27th, and 28th. Stefan Larkamp, look at the big names well back here, 29th, and in 30th, it's Bob Mikas, who we saw get tenderized. Richie?
31st speed, Jason Galvin, who had a little incident there. Not his fault. Damon Martinez, 32nd. Jason Robarge had a run up front for a little while, comes in 33rd. Sage Karam, not a lucky day for him. Started 7th, 34th position finish. Joe Flanagan, 35th. Isaiah Dupree, 36th. Ron Hacker, 37th. Andrew Kinsella, 38th. George Sandman, 39th. And Greg West in 40th. I'll finish it out here. Brian Beard, 41st. And Chris Stouffer in 42nd.
And now we bring into the booth our race winner, Scotty Johnson. I almost wanted to use my Al Michaels, do you believe in miracles? Yes, Scotty Johnson, congratulations. Woohoo, that was fun.
Yeah, thanks, Soup. I still don't believe it actually happened.
I'll tell you what I think helped you. There was some great lap traffic that you were just positioning just perfect that were keeping guys behind you.
Yeah, after that last restart, Justin, I think, got a penalty and had to get pushed back. So I'm like, hey, I got a little bit of a cushion. But I think it was 3 laps. He was right on my butt. So I was like, this is all over. But I had those lap cars were so tight to me. I hadn't raced in traffic all day long. So I was kind of afraid that I was going to screw up and something was going to happen. But yeah, it worked out good.
When did it dawn on you that I got this? Quarter 4? Did the last lap? When did you think I got this?
Coming out of turn 4.
Coming out of turn 4. Well, man, it was an exciting race. Now, you played the long game. You led early on. You got to led a couple laps because you were running long. So you put yourself in that position to have that happen.
Yeah, I really slow in qualifying and running in the back here. I was just trying to avoid any issues. And in the end, I figured, what the heck, I'm probably going to lose pace on these guys, not pitting with them, but I'm just going to roll the dice. And, I've gotten podiums 3 times now, and it's always been on races like this. Other 2 times are at Iowa.
Did you know when that yellow came out at the end? Did you have to figure out, said, hey, I got a shot at this. I might be in the lead.
No, I knew I was going to be up towards the top, but I hadn't been paying any attention to who was in front of me and who was behind me and all that.
There you find yourself out in front with a cushion between you and second place. Congratulations on the win. It was exciting.
Thanks, Sue.
Scotty Johnson. All right, Richie, who you got?
Now we got our second place finisher, Ken Hacker. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Ken. Awesome job. Started 6th, finished 2nd. Kind of not too much up there in the front, but right at the end. Boy, you were right on the move and had some lap traffic, though, kind of playing a part in that. Tell us a little bit about your race.
No, it was just listening to the rest of the team and trying to stay clean. Thought I could get a run there at the end. I finally got around Justin and was trying to chase Scotty down.
Yeah, Justin looks like he kind of used his car up a little bit trying to get through those cars to get up to Scotty. He fell all the way back to a 7th, but yeah, that was a good run. It was a great race to watch and some really close calls. Have any times where you thought maybe the race was ended for you?
Yeah, there was once when me and Joe got together that I thought I was done, but I got through that and kept going.
Nicely done there. Second place finish. It'll be a good points haul for you. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Just the rest of the center team helping me out.
Awesome. So once again, great job. 6th to 2nd. That's Ken Hacker, and we'll see him at the next race.
Okay, I get to talk to Adam Blocker. I'm going to give a warning to his family. Maybe I want to have Adam's DNA checked here because he might be like a pod person sent here from outer space to impersonate Adam Blocker. Adam, that was not you today. You just didn't have it. I know you got 3rd, but you weren't really in the mix for much of this.
Oh, I mean, I had it. I just started 41st, so I screwed up on my second qualifying lap, the one that counts, and I went on the apron too fast, too early on the pit straight, and hit the giant bump that exists there, and spun across the line and validated my hot lap. So, and Kentucky the setup was really good, and it was possible to pass, but Kentucky just by its nature is a little bit difficult. So it took me a while to get going, but once I kind of got lucky with a few near misses, I think a car went over the top of my head, and I had to basically stop for when Mark Cohn got rear-ended. I had to stop when he was spinning, and cars were flying past me on both sides. That was kind of interesting. But yeah, once I finally got out of the crazy people and we got a long green run, I made my way from like 21st to 6th on a run, and I just wanted to caution a little bit earlier so we could get the gaps reset, so I could have a go at it. But yeah,
had a chance. Too much traffic for you to get up there at the very end, huh?
Well, once we finally got a late yellow, we had a little bit too few laps left. But and the main thing was that Garen and the likes of us, we had to get the wave around, which meant we had to go through all that lap track.
Right.
And like Garen, Hacker, and I and Shawan were flying through these people, and we got up there. But if we had like 2 or 3 laps, I think could have won.
Yep.
That's how it goes. I'll definitely take 3rd out of that, though. That was a pretty crazy race.
Congratulations on a well-done podium for you. Adam Blocker, your defending champion. One more, Richie. Who are you going to get to talk to?
We're going to talk to our pole sitter coming in 4th spot, Dan Guerin. Dan, you kind of had this race in hand. Yellow flag came out, just kind of a weird spot for you, but you're able to make your way back up to 4th spot.
Yeah, I didn't want that caution at all. A few of them bit me last season as well, but last time I got caught a lap down. This time, at least everybody else had to pit, so we got the wave around. But there's a lot of cars in front of us, and I used up a lot of my tires trying to get through them. And King got a run on me, so I let him go by, and we touched entering turn 1, and about ruined both our nights. But we both survived, and so my hat's off to Ken there on 2nd place. Great run for him, and congrats to Scotty too on his first win.
Yeah, what Adam mentioned that too is you guys got the wave around. You had a bunch of cars to get through, and it just took a little too long. But man, you guys fought it out strong at the end. Good job to Scotty. You know, sometimes it just works out for you. You did have a fast car. Tell me a little bit about the tire wear. You know, I was kind of guessing a little bit that, you know, early on you could hold that yellow line, but, you know, about halfway through you weren't able to do that.
Yeah, the tire wear there after about 7, 8 laps or so, you had to start moving up the track a little bit. And that's what I was doing with Connor. He kept trying to force the issue and keep me down there, but I wasn't going to have it. So I just kept trying to run a little bit higher. Then, you know, him and I finally just started running side by side, and I just finally got around him completely.
Yeah, you guys had a good run up there at the front, and man, a great job, 4th spot. Got to look at it this way, Dan. You know, last year you were having fast cars, but you were getting in wrecks. So now you have fast cars, and you're still finishing in the top 5. So you're kind of ahead of the game as far as the championship goes.
Yeah, I'm not going to count my eggs too soon yet, though. Still got a lot of season left. But yeah, the season's definitely starting off better than last.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, great run. Dominant car, not quite works out, but not your fault, just the way it works out sometimes. And we'll see you at the next one.
Yep, thanks a lot. Just want to give a shout out to all my teammates there and my sponsors like Precision, Midwest Simulations, Graphics, and Sim Racers for Mental Health.
Awesome job there. So there we go. Top 4 finishers, Soup.
It was a fun one indeed. Let's thank everybody. First Medical Equipment. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer care, Mr.
Sim Experience, the makers of AccuForce Pro V2 Complete, the premier professional racing simulation steering system. The key to the AccuForce Pro's incredible realism is the groundbreaking direct drive motor control system, providing a driving experience that, when combined with today's best racing simulators, is as close as you can get to driving the real thing. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including the Sim5 software, 3DOF, Stage Series Motion, and the GS5 G4C, visit www.simexperience.com.
That Sim Experience overlay is really good. Hey, thanks to the Butt Kicker products for instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, you know what a Butt Kicker does? It moves actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing car-to-driver connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Use the promo code LION25 to get 25% off your order.
To contact any of these sponsors you see on the screen right now, go to the LionheartRacingSeries.com, click on 2018 sponsors, read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo.
On your screen now are just some of the plethora of companies, equipment, and software that we use to bring cyberspace into your place. The iconic music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production, that comes courtesy of June Malone. See the screen to how to get a hold of her good work.
The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns in 1 week, Wednesday, April 10th, from Phoenix International Raceway, officially called ISM Speedway Raceway. GSRC IESN will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. The next broadcast on IESN is GSRC's coverage of the Precision Racing League's Radical Series from Monza. Coverage begins Thursday, April 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Sliding across your screen now, like Jean-Franc Keely, is the upcoming broadcast, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Hey, and if you've done so, go on over to our YouTube page and become a subscriber by hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of everybody here on the crew, Richie, Amjad, Dougie, the Professor, and Marianne, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as Scotty Johnson gets his first Lionheart Indy win at the OMA 200 at Kentucky. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle, and for all you former chiropractors in Montana, let the dogs chase the geese. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.